Hashtag fix TF2. Not to be confused with hashtag save TF2, which happened about 2 years ago, is a movement to try to bring back Team Fortress 2 from its state of neglect and its prevalent bot problem at the time. While many people simply signed a petition or posted about it online.
Oh, what the?
What was noise?
A 4chan Anon on the TF2 general thread would take matters into his own hands on June 5th, 2024. With the plan being put in motion, Cyan Anon would get to work. With nothing better to do, he would start a pretty low-level scheme of just putting a Save TF2 sign out on the building property. With another Anon giving a much better idea, the true plan was set in motion. Up first in this plan was who to cosplay, with suggestions of what Cyan Anon should dress up as, including a sniper bot, Fu Manchu, and even the Demo Man, were put forth. With this Anon being pretty much all talk at the moment, many people had their doubts, but as Cyan Anon started posting more and more about his plan, opinions would soon change. With the conscientious objector plan in motion, Cyan Anon decided to show up as either a scout or engineer, along with an MVM sniper bot with the big red X, and some potential pamphlets to showcase the awareness of the bot crisis. Also, a quick shout out to the last recorded case of a person from Reddit showing up to the Valve headquarters building in 2022, as they were kicked out due to seemingly trying to enter the lobby of the building instead of merely protesting outside, but the Reddit OP did show a photo with the Valve employee along with some sweet little eyes for the time.
This one was invented by a writer.
With pretty much no good suggestions for Cyan Anon to use from the thread, he would get to work behind the scenes while the TF2 general thread discussed the random things it usually does. 3 days pass. The plans that Cyan Anon put forth, including the final choice of cosplay, which was Scout, was chosen as him and his friends have all the necessary gear to assemble a makeshift Scout cosplay. He would also check out some local laws to make sure he wouldn't immediately get kicked off the premise. Unlike the last person to do this who got kicked out due to having a mask, Cyan Anon's plan seemed to be solid, all except for one thing. Realizing the potential sign company that he wanted to order from is pretty much useless for how quickly he wants the order, Cyan Anon took matters into his own hands and simply got the raw materials to make the conscientious objector. Many Anons rejoiced knowing that maybe this is actually the real deal. Half a day has passed, and some people wonder when Cyan Anon will actually show up to Valve headquarters. Anon's already calling it Jover as doubt arises. Many people calling Cyan Anon a no-show due to apparently being too fat to be a Scout cosplayer, pick related. But at the end of the day, Cyan Anon finally reveals himself, sign and all, finally putting down any doubt that the plan had festered before the update. After many posts praising Cyan Anon for being the real deal, his final plan for what he would do at Valve headquarters is be there all day with the goal to force interaction with a Valve employee by focusing on 4 set times: open hours, lunch, lunch 2, and closing. Cyan Anon will try his best to bring awareness to the Fix TF2 movement by showing up and talking to an employee about the current problems within the game. Just one more thing to point out, as it'll come up later, but the building that Valve headquarters is located in is actually being shared with many businesses, including the International Pokemon Company, which I thought was something pretty cool to point out. So this protest would actually have been seen by more than just Valve. New thread forms, and people can hardly contain their excitement for something actually happening. Enough so that people shit on the TF2 General OP for not making the main thread's image Cyan Anon. But after some time of silence, when the iron is hot, people started to make jokes on the whereabouts of Cyan Anon. Jokes such as, Cyan Anon was mowed down by the Heavy right in front of Valve, Cyan Anon was drone striked by Gaben himself, or Cyan Anon spotted by Taiwanese air defenses flying over South China Sea, and many more I don't want to list here.
Alright, I get it!
The day ends, and Cyan Anon is nowhere to be seen. The bot bros have won. That was until he actually posted. People were waiting for what Cyan Anon had to report about his findings, and what did he gather? It was nothing. Well, not nothing, but the fact that apparently the executives really didn't want to deal with another hashtag save TF2 situation, so they tried their best to keep it under wraps. The good news, though, is that Cyan Anon was able to be there all day as he was on a public sidewalk, doing no harm. So, shout out America for the First Amendment. Cyan Anon will be given acknowledgement from people who seem to be Valve employees during the opening hours of the day, even someone shouting, "That scout's a spy," when walking to the building. The trouble came from the fact that after the opening hours, it would seem nobody would even try to validate Cyan Anon's existence, even going out of their way not to eye him. A few Anons would either doom post about everything being over or ask some questions about what Cyan Anon encountered. Even when he saw Eric Smith, this dude, he would even go into more details about it in his next posts. Anon would claim that a few people did try to get photos of him, but seeing as he wanted photos of them together to acknowledge awareness, they would seemingly go away, which further enforced the no contact PR theory. Another interesting claim is the fact that Anon did witness someone who seemed to be Eric Smith, but claims that he was ignored multiple times, even though Eric passed him on the sidewalk. While coming out with seemingly no acknowledgement from Valve themselves, Anon would get some other staff from different companies from inside the building to give him a nice gesture and even a good amount of random passerbys wanting to take photos with him, but unfortunately, nothing from Valve. With more Doom posting including these, people would also criticize this protest in regards to the fact that Anon didn't interact with enough people in the building, in which Anon would use the example from the Reddit spy guy trying to walk into the headquarters, causing him to get kicked out. As long as Anon was on the sidewalk, he was untouchable by security. Even to the degree that apparently an employee from the building tried to get rid of him, but as he was on the sidewalk, nothing happened to him. So, what's the takeaway here? I think Valve didn't want to deal with the #FixTF2 problem during the early days of the movement. I feel the no contact PR theory that was preventing Valve employees from interacting with Anon has some merit, with proof being that when Anon wanted to take a photo with the employees who were asked to take photos of him, they would just scurry off. And the fact that even people who worked on TF2, such as Eric Smith, didn't even interact with him, shows that the PR theory is credible, as they did bother to pose with another cosplayer like 2 years ago. But who knows? Even when trying to discuss the bot issues with some security on the premise, it's good to know that something happened that day that gave an interesting result compared to the last known case of this going on. And you know, it wasn't this. Also, this green text basically summarizes the situation in the best way possible. Anon cosplays a scout with an objector at the sidewalk near the building Valve's office is in. Said building is shared by a banking office and Pokemon office. Anon got weird stares by bankers and Pokemon drones. Valve employees clocking in the morning saw Anon, smiled, and one of them said, "That scout's a spy." Hours pass. Suddenly, all Valve employees that pass by Anon give him the cold shoulder. Anon senses that the Valve employees want to talk to him, but they are forced not to because of higher-up meddling. Early afternoon, Anon eats lunch nearby. Anon still gets weird stares from bankers. All of this while Anon preserves the peace and doesn't stir up any trouble and gives security the peace of mind. TLDR, Anon goes to Valve. Some Valve employees greet him at first, then higher-up meddling forced Valve employees to ignore Anon. Yeah, I think something awful's going on at Valve. And yeah, that's it. Well, seeing the date of this video, we all know how #FixTF2 ended up, but I still think it was a pretty nice story to share, seeing as the random post that got me interested in this case had pretty much no info on it, so I decided to do research myself. Anyways, thanks for watching, and shout out to the Patreon peeps who stuck out with me this long, as well as the channel members, as I have been gone for a while and they were still supporting me in my absence. And also, a final thanks to you for watching, as it really does mean a lot to me when people check out these videos, as it encourages me to do more in the future. Alright, bye-bye.